So this was a pretty bad week because it's been super hot and my decision-making power just melted away, but I nevertheless got some stuff done. So I implemented the meta progression system that I talked about last week, and I used the weird block logic system that I talked about last week. And I was discussing this with some friends recently, and it turns out it's just, they're just a list, you know? I've just invented lists from first principle and stupidity. Every block is like a game object that's always hidden behind the scene. It's like hiding behind the level. And it has some data stored in it, right? And then I cycle through all of the blocks and check which of the ones, you know, are matching the parameters of whatever I'm searching for. You know, like, oh, every block that has not been unlocked, you know, select all of those and then pick one of those at random. Those are the kinds of like operations I'm doing with them. It's basically just a list. It's just kind of stupid. So I'm using that for the meta progression, which uses item blocks and level blocks. And then there's a random selection, right? You get a random level and you get 3 random items to solve it with. The thing is, why the meta progression was needed in the first place is that the randomness is too big. There's too many items, there's too many levels. If you get an item and you understand how it works, you know, it's going to take maybe like 10 minutes until you randomly until you randomly pull it again from the pile. So the randomness is too big. So to solve that, you know, the meta progression starts you out with a smaller pool. You know, you have still randomness, you still get random tools, you get random levels, but it's just all coming from a much smaller total pool. So you can learn much quicker, like what's going on. You can understand the things you have much faster because you see them more often. When you beat enough levels, you're gonna get to the boss levels. And the boss levels are the only thing in Mussolina that are linear. So you get first boss level 1, and when you beat it, you unlock boss level 2. But you also unlock more tools and more levels. So every time you beat a boss, the pool widens, the randomness becomes larger and more chaotic. In the end, everything will every player will converge back into the same pool, but you will take an extremely random road there, and that's why the difficulty progression is also randomized, because you might get stuff that's not useful for the levels that you get. Who knows? That's the cool thing about the game. I can be surprised by it as well. So I coded that 2 times because the first time I coded it, it broke when I tried to add the visualizations. This was a huge, huge issue, and eventually I just scrapped everything and rewrote it in like half a day because I've rewritten this system like so many times. It was just faster to do that. And I really have to make haste. There's not a lot of time left. We have next week only to finish all of the sound effects and to hit like there's a demo that I want to submit. So I have to hit that deadline as well. So what that means is I'm working with Silkersoft on the audio, who's been amazing and very kind and patient with me in this week of heat. So the thing is that we have to log in all of the items. Like the items need specific sound effects, and the sound effects are hooked to how the items work. So that means I just have to, you know, that's it, you know. as always, the deadline kind of makes it possible. So I just reworked and tweaked and kind of played around with like 12 items that I had, like that I was not really happy with, and that I now, and maybe still not really happy with, but they'll just be in the full game. They're just going to be there, you know, because we need that content. It's all about the content. So the sounds, I also got the first half of the sounds already and implemented them, and they're amazing. We also got like 60 ambient tracks that we're going to also, of course, randomly select to play in the background. That's really cool. And then I just finished the week off by doing some small polishing stuff, like some things that are not really necessary, like the rotating background and the like lerping color thing that corresponds to the levels. Just kind of like nice polished stuff so I can feel a little bit better. Because until now, until I recorded this devlog, I felt really down about the progress this week. I was like, oh, nothing happened. You know, I watched like 4 Jurassic Park movies because it was just so hot and my brain didn't work. But now I realize, oh wow, actually, quite a lot of shit happened. It's not that bad. So yeah, that's kind of nice. If there's some more questions you have, please just leave them for audience interaction, and look forward to Mussolina, which has already released on Game Boy Color. There's no need to wishlist it anymore. Thanks for your time.